Next item is a question to the Minister for Economy and Transport, and the question is to be asked by David Rees.
Will the Minister make a statement following the announcement of the closure of Hilex and the loss of over 100 wage jobs at the Baglan Energy Park?
Clywyd, this is clearly devastating news, and my thoughts are with the employees of Hilex and, of course, with their families at this very difficult time. Our focus is now on supporting the workforce and finding alternative local employment. And, of course, this is sadly the latest in a series of announcements across the United Kingdom concerning job losses in the auto sector, and comes on the very same day that survey data revealed that more than 80% of firms in the sector are concerned for their future prospects because of the threat of a no-deal Brexit.
I'm going to thank the Minister for that answer. Hilex Cable Systems Company Limited actually was one of the first businesses to move on to the Baglan Energy Park back in the 1990s. It's been there for over 20-odd years, and it's been in profit. You quite rightly pointed out that one of the problems it's now facing is the loss of customers because of the uncertainty in the automotive sector, particularly Honda closing in Swindon, which is one of its major customers. This is not a situation where business is actually closing down. The business is transferring to another part of the European Union. It's going to Hungary. And this site will actually close within probably about 12 months. They guarantee at this point in time 12 months, no redundancies. But who knows, if Honda close earlier, who knows what will happen as a consequence of that. Now, the situation for workers is, I understand there are no trade unions within the business, so there is no organisation basically there to help support workers in any redundancy discussions. So will the Welsh Government step in and talk with Hilex to allow it to work with the employees to ensure that as individuals who may be facing redundancy in the coming months are able to actually get the best deal situation possible and they're not left without any representation whatsoever? Will you also talk to Hilex to see how you can help and work with them to ensure that the 12 months they've given at the moment is going to be 12 months and we don't actually see a shortage of that? Will you also work with the local authorities? Because clearly, if we're trying to find new employment, we need to attract new investment. We need to encourage growth within local businesses, because these are well-paid, high-skilled jobs that are leaving this area, and 125 families that are now facing a difficult future because of the unknown what will happen beyond their employment at that company. It is important the Welsh Government now steps up to the mark, and also the UK Government needs to step up to the mark, because clearly the whole manufacturing sector across the UK is struggling because of Brexit, because of other circumstances, because of global economies. And I don't see the UK Government stepping up to the plate. The Welsh Government has to step up to the plate now, and will you give me the guarantees, and will you give the workers those guarantees? The Welsh Government will act and will help them and will support them as best possible.
Well, can I thank Di Rees for his questions, and I'm sure that Di Rees will share my concerns about the future welfare of those workers as they face a very anxious time between now and 2020 or possibly 2021 when the site is due to close. We will, of course, press the company to ensure that there is at least 12 months of work for those people who are affected by today's announcement. Those 12 months will give us sufficient time to ensure that the REACT programme is enabled and that we have full access to all workers on site. The REACT programme has a very strong record of supporting individuals, and I'm pleased that we do have good relations with Hilex, so I am confident that the company will enable access to be established for those REACT teams. I'm also confident that we'll be able to work very closely with the local authority in identifying other employment opportunities. We in Welsh Government have set up regional response teams ahead of Britain leaving the European Union, should Britain leave the EU, and those regional response teams will include individuals from within local authorities across Wales. Di Rees identified the primary cause of the loss of this company, and it is, of course, Honda's announcement that closing the Swindon facility. After Honda made that announcement, I asked Welsh Government officials to convene a roundtable discussion with businesses in Wales in the Honda supply chain. That summit was very well attended by pretty much all of the 20 supply chain businesses that we have in Wales. I can tell members that the vast majority of businesses within the Honda supply chain here in Wales rely for only a small proportion of their work on Honda. However, there are a very small number that rely to a significant extent on Honda. We've been working with them very closely, including Lex, since we had that roundtable discussion, I can also tell members that we've been assisted by officials within the Department for Business, Enterprise and Industrial Strategy in the UK Government and by the Welsh Automotive Forum. But Di Rees makes the very important point that the UK Government must step up to the mark on this. I'm due to meet with the Secretary of State for BEIS tomorrow in London, where I will be making the strongest possible case for the UK Government to allocate funding to the Kingfisher programme, which is looking at businesses that are at risk as a consequence of Brexit uncertainties. We have stepped up to the plate in rolling out Brexit business resilience funding to a significant number of businesses across Wales. We stepped up to the plate in establishing the Ford Task Force and in attracting Ineos Automotive to Wales. It's time for the UK Government to do so likewise.
Russell George.